Start early, sod it. Yeah, go. Right. Evening, everyone, and welcome to TMA TV. This is the Pidge meets League Judges. This is from Arsenal Fan TV. It's an absolute honour, Lee. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thanks for having us on. Looking forward to it.
Pleasure. Right. Obviously, stating the obvious, but we're going to preview the game. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, say late afternoon, 4 o'clock kickoff. Crucial. I mean, probably more crucial for us than you guys because you're looking ahead to a certain cup final that's coming up in a week or so's time. So hopefully you guys will be looking at winning that. It'll be how many trophies have you won the FA Cup? How many?
13 times we've won it, so we're going for our 14th this time. So it'll be nice to get a couple in front of Man United as well. So it's a big ask beating Chelsea, but you know, if we play like we did against Man City, we're in with a chance. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I say, guys, if you just tune in, this is League Judges from Arsenal Fan TV fame as well. I don't think he'll mind me telling everyone that. But like I said, we got you on because like most people, we watch Arsenal Fan TV. And no offence, we usually watch it when you guys lose because we want to see DT and that lot stop running. If you don't mind me saying that, but
no problems.
Not because you're on the pod there, but we always admire you. You're doing your interviews. Obviously, we love Robbie, but we admire you doing your ones because you're always straight talking, you to the point. And look, mate, you're honest. You know, that's all we all. You know, I know it doesn't get, as they say, as many views, but you're honest, and I prefer that rather than just shouting about and just doing it.
Exactly. It's, you know, I think, you know, as you know, channels and all this are all about views, I suppose, but it's also about content as well. You've got to have different people on there, different views. You know, obviously, like there are a few that are on there, and a lot. What I find really quite nice is that a lot of the other people watch, but there's a lot of Arsenal fans that actually watch me. So that's a good thing for me, you know. So I don't get so many of the I suppose the rival supporters watching me. So, you know, you got obviously a few, but like not as many as perhaps the other guys. So I look at that as a good thing. So I you know, when I go to the Arsenal and all that, people like quite like me. So where some of the others they don't. So you know,
different personalities as well, isn't it? You give a different view to say someone like, and you know, not a knockable thing is DT. You know, people love DT the way he likes to talk, but they also say if they don't prefer him, then they go and watch your interviews as well. So you've got like best of both worlds.
Exactly, and I don't know if you know it, but Troy Deeney is very good friends with DT. They're quite close. So you know, so it just shows you through just watching the channel. Like obviously, it just shows that he was watching it as well, and they've become quite pally over the last year. I think he was in his box like the last time Arsenal played Watford. So it just goes to show you these things can happen, like, you know. So
ponies, haven't they?
Yeah, that's it, like, you know. So listen, he's not the most favourite player if from an Arsenal point of view, but you know, going back to that day, I felt that he spoke the truth, you know. So sometimes the truth hurts, you know. So and I think that's the same with these channels, you know. Some people like them because, you know, it gives you closeness and people feel that what you're feeling as a fan, and other people don't like them because they feel that it's embarrassing their club. I get all of that, the situation from it all, but listen, you know, the players do watch these things. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. You know what I mean? And I know that for like, you know, ex-players do. Players nowadays watch them now, and you know, they get them. Sometimes they don't want to watch them, but it comes up on their timeline on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and they've got no choice. Exactly right. But you know, listen, this football's always been like that. Even back in the 80s and all that, you had fans, magazines, and things like that, and all of that. It's just it's gone more public now. And the greatest thing is that sometimes when you're talking on an interview or something like that, and you know that the players are watching it, so it gives you a sense of purpose in what you're doing, if you know what I mean. So I think it's a good thing. I get the criticism, but it is what it is. And listen, football's changed completely 10, 15 years ago. So you're going to get different views and different things now. And fan channels, I think, are here to stay. And, it's great to see. It's fantastic. They're all cropping up, all different clubs now. So brilliant.
Yeah, we've got quite a few. You see, Lee, the Watford way. James has said hi, Lee. So, and up the Gooners from Matthew Lee. My mate Matthew is a Gooner. He's particularly excited to watch this as well. So, evening, Matthew. Right, okay. So, onto the game. The main players. Obviously, you've said about Deeney. We're sort of in two minds of whether or not he'll play because he's got a knee injury. But who do you think, from an Arsenal point of view? Firstly, who worry you guys, and also, do you reckon that could pose us the most threat?
Well, I have to say this. I can't believe really Watford are where they are with some of the players that they've got. I think Decore is a fantastic player in midfield. I don't know if he's been as good as this season as what he has been in the past, but every time I've seen him play, I've always been impressed. Saha up front, always, when I've seen him play, really, really good. Of course, Danny Welbeck, unfortunately with Danny, he's a top player, but he's just never fit enough. And I think
that's the problem.
I think with you guys, you probably haven't seen the best of him or enough of him to really to know. But I think that he's a hard-working centre forward and good in it there. And I think I don't really know where it's gone wrong for Watford. Really, when you look at some of the players that they've got in the side, they've got some real top players. And that if dare should I say, if you do drop down, there'll be a few clubs looking at some of those players. So I think that they're and if Troy Deeney does, but listen, you always give us a real different. I think it's only one game in the last sort of 3 or 4 that I think we've won quite comfortably. I think that's when Deeney missed the penalty, if I remember right.
I think it was straight after the Cojones when we beat you.
I think it was that year. But he knocked us out the FA Cup one year, deservedly so, at the Emirates, and have been I remember another time when we was really going for a title, or even like say going for the top. We was right up there, and you come beat us a midweek game.
Goals in the first 10 minutes.
It was it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and we couldn't claw it back, So so Watford have always caused us a few problems. So I think that it'd be a look, listen, for us, it's a game where we've got. I personally think for Aston Villa and yourselves, it was a good thing that we won the FA Cup, because it's straight away taken the focus off these last 2 games for us. As you can see, I imagine he was disappointed on Tuesday with Arsenal's performance, because that was, you had a bit of a bad day really, losing to Man City yourselves, and then probably thinking, well, the consolation was Arsenal might at least get a draw, but they didn't turn up on a day.
The thing is, though, Lee, as well, I've said to a lot of people, okay, and I've got a couple of Arsenal fans at work, and I joke around, say, do us a favour Sunday, or do us a favour whenever, like against Villa. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be relying on people to dig us out of this. So, all these, we've had a couple of fans, not many fans, we had a few fans going, oh, well, Arsenal should have done us a favour. So, well, not really, because Arsenal are not there to do us a favour. They're just there to win the game. If it means them doing us a favour, then albeit. But, that's the thing I want to talk to you about. That I mean, I can't really comment about our team's form, because our team's been erratic at best. Obviously, the table don't lie, but I mean, it really must. I mean, we see it as well in like some of your interviews, and obviously the rest of the guys. But it must really frustrate you, because Arteta's really tried to really bonded your team together. And you, like say, you said we've got some players, but you've got one hell of a forward line, especially Aubameyang. I mean, what a world class player he is, and. It's just, I think. Do you think defensively is your weak point?
Well, without a doubt, our defence is Championship at best, and that's what the problem's been. It has been a problem, and I think you look at all the teams. Arsenal got a fantastic forward line, but if you're not supplying it, then it ain't going to be no good, and that's another problem that we've had. We're not creating enough chances and all that. There's so many things wrong about Arsenal. We'd be here all night, you know what I mean? If I'll be honest, but listen. People go on about Arsenal fans. Oh, why do you moan and all that? Like, you'll get other fans come on and go. I speak to other fans. You want to be like us, like supporting Norwich or Hull or whatever. And I get everything you say about that. But the thing that frustrates Arsenal fans is that we was sold a dream. We've taken away like Highbury, taken away from us for this new stadium, and everything was going to be, you know, like to compete with everybody else, and it's just not happened. And I think that's the frustration with an Arsenal fan. You know, that's why we get a little bit annoyed, a little bit more frustrated than what we should do. And in saying that, though, we've still got some players that are underperforming, and you know, and I think to myself, underperforming at a club like Arsenal, you should be grateful that they're playing at a club like Arsenal.
Oh,
you know?
God, what an institution Arsenal is!
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows the famous back five. You know, I've been lucky to meet most of them, which has been an absolute pleasure. And you know, everyone had. I mean, most people looked upon that team. I mean, when I was a little kid at primary school, I mean, I was always a Watford, but I looked up at Arsenal's team at that stage, and I was mesmerised by the Adamses and the Keowns and people like that. And you know, you look at back line. I think you've always struggled back line wise since the Invincibles, but it's slightly, you know, forward line. I mean, you're fine. You score goals. You know,
we've always been all right. You know, I mean, but we've not addressed that defence for so many. We've neglected it. You know, what I mean, it's like if you neglect an house, you know what I mean, and the foundations of an house, you know, before you know it goes rotten, and that's exactly what's happened, you know. And we've not, you know, you can decorate it with, you know, like, and that's what we try to do with forwards and all that, and it's not really happened for us. And unfortunately, we're in a position now where we're suffering a little bit like because of it, you know. And listen, other teams are not going to feel sorry for us. I get that, you know what I mean. I get that, you know. But I think from my point of view now, with Mikel Arteta coming in now, you know, he's blown me away. I didn't think he was going to be nowhere near the sort of manager that he has. But I can say from an Arsenal fan, I've been crying out for a performance like the Liverpool one and the game against Man City, where you defend for your lives and there's a game plan and everything like that. Yeah. And it's not just off the cup. You know what I mean, Paul? It was a fantastic performance against Man City. You know, Man City are blowing teams away, and they are capable of doing that to anybody. You know, and
you unlocked the key. You had the key to unlock the lock that a lot of people were finding out how to do it, and you seemed to do it down to a T at Wembley.
Exactly, because what was great about it from our point of view was that I think Mikel Arteta knew how to beat Man City, and he set little traps all around for them to fall into, and it was just, you know, calculated. It was a superb game plan. And it was, you know, brilliant for us, and you know, to get that result. And so, and in football, you need that. It's no good, you know, if football was like, you know, the best teams are going to beat everybody, then Watford are never going to go and beat Arsenal away from home. You've got to have a game plan. You've got to have you know, players that are willing to do what the hard work and everything like that, and stifle the team's play. And I think it's great when teams do that, you know. So otherwise, Man City would win every game. And now, you know, I'm pretty sure Real Madrid would be looking at how Arsenal done it, and then they'd be thinking, well, if Arsenal can do it, well, we can do it against them. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, you know, it now gives Pep and his merry men are more complicating things and things like that, and that's what you want, and that's what makes football great. You know, Arsene Wenger, I think, it was a fantastic manager. Don't get us wrong, but you know, his philosophy was, oh well, we beat whoever in front of us. It's not like that. Other teams would come here and suss you out, and put in a game plan that would stifle you, and that's what football's all about. Yeah,
well, I mean, obviously, you've got the cup final coming straight, it's hot on the heels of the game tomorrow. I mean, looking at it from our point of view, and probably you look at towards how we dealt with it. Well, I mean, we came on the back of a couple of defeats, or shall we say, a couple of defeats, a few defeats going into the cup final, which really hindered us. So I've spoke to a lot of Watford fans, and even though you made 6 changes against Villa, we sort of think, well, you want to finish the season on good terms, you know, finish with a win. So we know this is not going to be easy. So we don't expect that many changes tomorrow, because, you know, you don't want to go into a cup final with 2 defeats. Obviously, we wouldn't complain if you did go into the cup final with 2 defeats, obviously. But I believe, and I said to a lot of people, that there's going to be a stronger side tomorrow with the cup final in mind, because you want to you want to go into the cup final on the back of a win.
Yeah, of course you do. I get that. I get that, Paul. But you know, there's also it's in your mind you don't want to get injured.
No,
you know, so like, or you know, so you're going there and give it 100% as, but you're not really giving it 100%. In your mind, you are. But I know if Troy Dean is coming in for a 50-50, if I was playing 50-50 with me, you know, I'm just gonna let him win it. You know what I mean? And try and nick it further down the line or whatever. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to get injured. You don't want to make that tackle that's going to get you sent off and miss the final as well. So they're all things that are going on in the head. So you know, physically you're ready to give it your all, but I think there's something a little bit not there, and that's why. You know, listen, Liverpool have dropped off because as soon as they've won the league, you know, there's no coincidence to it. And you know, you guys, when you got to the cup final, as you say, your mind goes off of it. And rightly so, you've got nothing to play for. So your mind goes totally off of it. And I think that happened with us against Villa. And I think it'll happen to us tomorrow. I think that Watford will be in a better position than... Listen, how can I say it? If Arsenal needed a point tomorrow or 3 points to get Champions League football, I think it'd be a lot harder for you to get the result than it is now. So I think from Watford's point of view, it's a good time to be taking on the Arsenal, and I feel that you've got a good chance because of that. And that's got no disrespect to what people putting out different teams. It's just all about attitude. And so I think that, you know, and I looked at the game against Villa, and it looked like to me that one team wanted it more than the other, and that was Villa. You know what I mean? Now they're in the same position going into the game against West Ham. West Ham are safe, but you know, a little bit of personal point. The other great thing about it, which is a thing, is that, and I know this when I played in that, you know, the manager always say last game of the season, go out there and give the fans something to come back for, and remind them what it is over the summer. Like, you know, the fans out there. The fans ain't there tomorrow. You know what I mean? So, you know, you go out there and you've got to, oh, well, we better not let the fans down. They're not there. So I still think it's a great opportunity for Watford to get something. And I wouldn't be surprised if you get a victory tomorrow. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, you know, like I said, we spoke to a lot of Watford fans about this, and we say about the on the one side, like I said to you, about the confidence wise, you going into a cup final would obviously help them off, obviously on the back of the Villa result. But I totally get where you're coming from, because also on the flip side, you're thinking, well, look, I don't want to get sent off or suspended. There's sent off and suspended or injured, in fact. So you're looking at, from our point of view, in that sense, we're looking at it that way. We need to really go at you. We're looking at, really, we were trying to build a team around Sarr, or hopefully, if all goes well, we stay up. They're looking at trying to build a team around Sarr, but obviously with the Liverpool link and Sane being his best pal, that could be a slight cog in the work, shall we say? But that's what we're looking at doing. We're in terms of us coming at you guys. We start notoriously slow. Certainly since lockdown, we always go behind, and not as much evident as it was against West Ham and Man City, where, you know, we just completely out of the game by half time. And we've turned around as, if we're really going to go at Arsenal, especially with your back, no offence, a shaky, we can't really say us is not shaky, but a shaky Arsenal back line, we need to go at them all guns, pardon the pun, all guns blazing. And really attacking with pace, because I mean, like you probably would testify that Mustafi, I know he's injured, but Mustafi and Luis don't like pace at them.
Exactly. Look, listen, if I've always said, if you're a decent manager or coach, and you're going to come to Arsenal and defend, I think that you shouldn't be there. I think you know, Arsenal's weaknesses is to get at them. And I'll be honest, if Arsenal go in front tomorrow, I think you'll be in a little bit of trouble. But if you get the goal up and go 1-0 up, I think then you'll be more than enough to get at least a point. And I think that's something that they've got to look into. The trouble with Watford, and you know, watching it from the outside in, I can't believe that you didn't really turn up against West Ham, which was a shock, really. I have to say. But losing Nigel Pearson, you know, or what's gone on there, you know, is from a manager that's, you know, let's face it, from where I was looking at it, you know, I thought Watford were doomed months and months ago until he turned up. And he's got you all that belief back and got you back into a position where realistically over the last 3 or 4 games you probably should have got the points to get safety. And like before lockdown, the magnificent performance against Liverpool was unbelievable performance. And since then, not really turned in a performance like that. So to ask somebody with a little bit of inexperience to come and see these 2 games through is very, very tough on Mullins to come and do that. Man City and Arsenal, tough ask. So, that's the thing that, listen, I got no beef with Watford whatsoever. I like them. I like them as a club. You know what I mean? I played at Vicarage Road many years ago, and being a Hertfordshire club and everything like that. But the neutral fan doesn't like the way that they keep sacking the managers, and that's a problem. And if you was a player, are you thinking, well, I'll get used to one manager, another one comes in, and blah blah blah. That is the problem that Watford have got to do. They've had some good managers, and listen, I go to Watford. It's a great ground to go to. I love going to Watford, and it is a tough arse to keep doing it year in, year out. And I think that you've got to get a manager that and the club are going to believe in, Paul, and hopefully that'll be the ones to do, because you've got some good players. Someone just said there, Capu in there, he's a top player as well, by the way. They've got some real, they shouldn't be where they are, Watford, really.
Yeah, we always say, are we good enough to stay up, or are we too good to go down? It's one of those conundrums, isn't it? But I think a lot of us, I completely agree with you. The outside, we're starting to agree with them, because the second of the managers is just getting ridiculous. We were all but doomed. We had 9 points, and we just come off the back of a defeat to Leicester as well, when Mullins took over 2 games. Pearson instilled belief in us, and a bit of an old school management duo as well, the way they handled the press and the way they handled the team. But it's a team thing now. They've got to, if they want to stay up, they've got to do it for themselves. And like you said, you sit like the magnificent performance we displayed against Liverpool. That's the Watford that we know that can produce that. It's just that where we are on the table is because we don't do that consistently. And to be fair, you probably agree. Arsenal should be high. I mean, personally, I think Arsenal should be higher than they are with some of the players we've got. But consistency is once again dogging you in a totally different way to what it's doing with us.
Yeah, exactly. And I do feel that, I don't know what you're back for. You'd know more than me, but I do feel that at times defensively that's what lets us down. That's why you can't get consistency. Now I don't know if that's the case with Watford. What I see of Watford, Troy Deeney gives it his all up there. It's a bit of a battering ram. And I remember playing last year when we won 1-0, and I think Deeney got sent off early, I think. But
I think it was last year, the year before, definitely.
Yeah, every time that Watford played some. Do you know, like back in the old days, it used to be like, a little bit of long ball stuff. Watford were renowned for, but what they can play some good football, and they passed it around us, and I think we was very, very fortunate to get away with 1-0 that time, even with 10 men, because played some really good stuff. So Watford do play some good football, and as you say, the game against Liverpool, if you'd have said to me after that Liverpool game, you'd sack your manager, Nigel Pearson would be sacked, and you'd be going into the last game with the relegation not in your hands, people would have laughed at you, Paul. They absolutely laughed at you. So you've got to blame yourselves somewhere along the line for that. But you've still got the capabilities of getting out of it, So West Ham, by the way, are in good form at the moment. So that's no give me that Villa are going to go there and win. And I know it sounds silly, but Villa could go there and win 1-0. You can go and win 2-0, and you're through. You know what I mean? So it's a real. I don't know, funny scenario really going into that last day tomorrow. So I don't know how you're going to handle that.
I know you guys are really the party poopers in a way, because you guys will have your pretty much, like you said, your mind's on the FA Cup final, and they've still got to go there, and Arsenal still got to go there and do a job and finish the season on a high anyway, even though the fans are not there. same with us. We've got obviously more at stake now, rather than just turning up like we have done before and just finishing off the season. So it is a conundrum. Like I say, it's a sad scenario now that we have to rely on other teams, and obviously teams that we're playing. But you can only help yourself at the end of the day. And like you guys will probably be saying before the FA Cup final, if we want to win it, we've got to do it ourselves.
Exactly. The one worry for Watford is that Arsenal are going to be relaxed, can be relaxed tomorrow. And, sometimes when you relax, where all the pressure's on Watford tomorrow, you just go out there and just, play freely, you know what I mean? So there's that could be another scenario, so it is a tough one. I feel that Watford have got a very good chance of still staying up, and let's not write off Bournemouth here. Everybody keeps mentioning Villa and Watford, like Bournemouth can still get out of it as well, so it'd be an interesting day. Like for me, it'd be an interesting day just to see how it's going to pan out, without having we've been there before when it's been trying to win titles or trying to get top four. I remember going to we was playing at home. I can't even think we was playing to, but Tottenham were playing Man United, and if Tottenham got a draw, we'd have won the league.
98-99, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we was comfortable, and we knew that Spurs weren't going to do us a favour. You know what I mean? And so you just, it's a tough thing, when you're relying on other teams, and we're the same as you guys looking at that going, well, if we'd have beaten Leeds, it'd have been in our own hands. It's down to us. It was our fault, and basically it is, so. But that can all change in 10 minutes tomorrow, so anything can happen, really.
Well, I mean, I've said to people, like you said, don't count out Bournemouth, because remember I think the West Brom great escape when Norwich was safe at one stage in Southampton. Then it was it West Brom stayed up, and it was just a crazy week, crazy day. And I think this one's going to be like it as well. It's going to change every 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think it's right. And look what happened in the Championship this week with what West Brom and Brentford. Brentford will be cursing themselves that they've blown it. Watford West Brom were hanging on, and then of course the Swansea and Notts Forest situation where the swing of goals was unbelievable. So it wouldn't pass anything happening tomorrow, So it was really strange, because it may be a scenario there tomorrow where you might be winning at Arsenal, and it might not be enough, where you've got to get another goal or something, and the manager be saying chuck it all down. You just don't know, So, or they might be saying we're winning now. We can defend it for the whatever, So there's going to be sort of, how Watford play tomorrow at some stage could be reliant on what's going on in other games. So it's a really weird situation where, you just, do you stay focused on your game and forget about what's going on, or are you going to have information being chucked in at? I don't know. It's a strange situation.
I know. Well, we've got a slight conundrum. Obviously we don't want to get relegated, but if we get relegated, we play that dodgy side near where DT lives in. That town. So we shouldn't say that word on this channel, but we've got them if we get relegated. But we would rather avoid them and just stay up. But to be honest, with us, it's going to be a complete clear out in the summer. And a lot of players are going to leave regardless of what division we're in. But next season, what does it hold for you guys? I mean, FA Cup or not, how do you see it? Because, I mean, Arteta's one hell of a coach. He's been the graduate of the Pep Academy, shall we say. What do you think, crystal ball time, how do you think his influence, is going to go on to rub off on the team?
Well, if we don't invest, and I know, it's horrible to say that sort of thing when I'm on a Watford channel where, we're expected to do it, you know what I mean? But if we don't invest, we're going to be where we are now, because unfortunately for us, you've got Everton are definitely going to be buying, and they've got an ambitious board. And also Newcastle, if they get the investment, the new owners, they're going to be ambitious. And so I am really looking at this summer. It will tell me one thing: is our board and our owners ambitious for Arsenal to do well. And if they are, then we'll invest, because all this talk about the coronavirus and this is getting us a lot. We ain't got this money and all that. The Sky money they don't need. They come out and saying a year ago or 2 years ago that they don't need the money for the fans. It's the TV money that does everything. They've still got that TV money. So and so that money's still there. So there is money to get players. Don't worry about that. You know what I mean? It's all a myth. So Arsenal need to invest in certain players and get in some 3 or 4 top class players. If they do get that, and with this manager and the way that he's going about things, as you see the result against Man City and Liverpool before that, we're going to be good. But if we carry on the way we're going, we still have maybe get a result against one of those teams there. But there's always a Brighton, and there's always a Villa around the corner. If we don't invest, we still lose to those games. As good as we've been against Man City, and as good as we've been against Man City, we've lost to Brighton, we've lost to Spurs, we've lost to Villa. Yeah. So we it's a mixed bag, Paul. It's a mixed bag, and Arsenal, we can't have full to have that. We've got to sort that out, and I think Mikel Arteta has got a very, very good chance of doing that if he gets the proper investment. Yeah. And that's a big word at Arsenal, if you get the investment.
Yeah, it's all if with us. I mean, it's the bad transfer windows over the last 3 or 4 3 or 4 transfer windows has really knocked us. I mean, we only had about 4 friendlies coming into the season. The transfer window was pretty poor. We knew where to kick on. I had Watford legend Nigel Callaghan on one of my podcasts yesterday, and he was going that we never really recovered after the 6-0 thrashing in the FA Cup final as well, and we really needed to kick on and buy at least another 6-7 players to really sort of freshen it up, because the team was getting very stale. And like you guys said a few times, that investment to freshen the place up really needs to happen. It's the same with us. It really, looking at the summer for us is what are we going to do? Are we going to it's quite documented with us. We get a lot of loan players in. A lot of the time now we just loan them out to other clubs. We've got a lot of loan players coming back to obviously full time with us as well. So that's going to be interesting. We've got Luis Suarez, shamefully not the Barcelona player, but we've got Luis Suarez coming. We've got a couple of other players. So with us, it's a totally different way of looking at it, because we've got Girardi, who less is said about him, the better. He basically buys the players, and the coach coaches them. But I think with Arsenal, it's more sort of I mean, Arteta's called head coach, but he's more of a
that's more of a team-like effort, I think, which is like being quite encouraging, if I'm being honest. There is like a team of players going through and all that, So I find that strange that Nigel said that about the cup final. I thought it was a fantastic thing that Watford got there, especially after the semi-final against Wolves. I thought that might have given him a little bit of confidence, but I suppose Manchester City, I think, are capable of beating anybody 6-0. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whether it be a cup final or not. We played a cup final against them 2 years ago. After 60 minutes, it was over at 3-0. So I get what he's saying, but if you're 3-0 down after 20 minutes or 30 minutes, like we was, and Watford are losing 6-0, I don't see too much difference in that. It's still a good hiding. And I think maybe that, I think that, listen, whether you're Watford, whether you're Arsenal, I think that you're always going to need to invest, and freshen things up. So, obviously we're looking for different things, but ultimately you still have your targets, same as Arsenal, and you've got to hit those targets. And with those targets, you've got to be looking to maybe freshen things up. Maybe he didn't do that. As I say, like Danny Welbeck is a good player, but he's not been on the pitch long enough for you. And you've got your main man in Deeney playing probably at 70% at the moment, which is tough. So and I do feel with Watford's players at times, as good as they are, that they're still a little bit inconsistent. You know,
Definitely.
like you know what you're going to get one week and not the other, and that's why they're probably at Watford without being not being disrespectful. You know, what I mean, they can turn it on one week and then, but it's getting it done 6, 7, 8 games on the spin, like, you know. So, and I think, like, if I look back at Watford again, they've made defensive mistakes, which should probably cost you as much as it like does us. So, I think that's something where they probably should have looked into investing was in getting some defenders in.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate.